This is the hardest thing I've ever had to say. I'm guilty. We're guilty of the sin of hubris. We had the best of intentions, to be Earth's guardians, to keep you safe, but we failed you. We looked down on the world from our tower in the sky and let our power and responsibilities separate us from the very people we were supposed to protect. No one should ever be afraid of us. For that reason, we're decommissioning the watchtower. The energy weapon up there is already gone. We're taking down the station as well. There's more. We want to thank the members of the Justice League for your courageous service. But in the future, you'll all have to act as independent agents. We're not going to be an army anymore. As of right now, we're disbanding the Justice League. This is the end.
Says who? You remember what we did yesterday? We saved the world again. You don't think that has any value? Well, think again, pal. The Justice League goes on, with or without you. Look, nobody can question your service or commitment to making things better. If you're quitting because you think you've already done your fair share, fine. We'll throw you a parade. But if you're quitting because it's easier than continuing the fight, then you're not the heroes we all thought you were. The world needs the Justice League, and the Justice League needs you, Superman.
Okay, but there are going to have to be some changes.
And why do you go on? Why does anyone? Why don't I just destroy you and everything else right now? All it would take is a single thought.
No! If you do that, you won't see the end of it.
The end of what? The evolutionary process.
You, of all beings, should know something about that.
Yes, I know. That's why Professor Ivo made me. These past months I have amassed so much knowledge, and yet I've remained confused. Empty.
What am I evolving into? What is my purpose? I must know. Tell me. There's no way to tell. That's why I stay in the game. My purpose, if you will, is to see where it's all going. And you rule forever. You'll be able to see it all.
That's my purpose. Simply to be a witness.
We create our own purpose. Now go create yours.
Price. Day you drink, day you fry, jelly, including our new junior bacon cheeseburger. Delicious food that leaves change in your pocket. What do you have to know to get a seat around here? Come drive it.
Quis custodia ipsos custodies.
Who guards the Guardians? We got it covered.
Thank you for joining the Syndicate Network, and welcome to Cartoons and Serial with Skywalker the Jedi.
Yo, what's going on, y'all? It is your boy Skywalker the Jedi back at y'all with another one. We back with Cartoons and Serial, you dig? We here doing a little bit something different this week because I got something planned for next week, and I was like, I don't know if I want to do like a new show, you know what I'm saying? And then and then actually like try to get like not just involved with it, but you know, just kind of drawn in, and we only be able to watch it for 1 week. So I was like, let's just do something a little bit different this week. And the homie Austin had the idea for the members only panel, and I was like, what? Say less, bro. Right. So I will be putting out a link in the chat momentarily. We can talk about whatever. We just chilling, having a chill Saturday morning over here, And let's say what's up to everybody in the chat. We got Luis the G in here early saying, what up? What's going on, bro? Hope you're having a wonderful morning. For sure. We got Dennis Medina signing up for the membership. Much love, dog. We appreciate that. You know what I mean? Let me go ahead and give you this drop, bro, for sure.
What are they doing here?
They're selling, Mortimer.
Well, that's ridiculous. Unless that crop report...
God help us!
I told you we shouldn't have committed everything, you asshole!
I gotta get Wilson and tell him to sell!
Wilson, where you going?
You idiot! Get back in there at once and sell!
But I
Right. Much love, Dennis. We got a DC talk in the building. What's going on? Rebel Moon Theory, you dig? What's going on, bro? We got Sin Havoc 5150 in the building. What's going on, Sin Havoc? We got Mama Bear, dog. Thank you for being here, Mama Bear. We appreciate you. All right. We got Triton saying that speech scene played just then is the first time I've seen anything from the Justice League cartoon, and it literally reeks of Snyderverse. Corn Sweat would have just cried and yelled at the crowd. Yo, you know what's crazy? I think Mama Bear said it best. Yo, if you want to see a blueprint for what Zack was doing, go look at Superman the animated series and the Justice League cartoon. Go no further. Like, it's all right there. You know what I mean? That's why people, when they be having these takes and, oh my God, Superman is so dark and he never smiles. He's always so serious. Superman's not supposed to be like that. Bruh, why is it that on the most famous incarnation that was wildly popular commercially and critically, why is it that that Superman just so happened to damn near exactly parallel Zack Snyder's version? Crazy. But they never complain about the cartoons. And then they call the cartoons peak. It's so backwards. It's so backwards. Right? It is so backwards. Slipknot fan says, Sky, did you see the Spaceballs 2 announcement trailer? They roasted WB. I did see that. I think that Spaceballs 2 is like exactly the kind of thing that's needed right now. It's still a sequel, but it's from it's something that people would genuinely like. It's from a universe that people would genuinely like to dive back into. I'm sure it didn't cost a whole lot of money, right? And they're giving the fans what they want. Rick Moranis is back. When's the last time anybody seen Rick Moranis in a movie? Right? How long has it been? Right? Everybody's coming back. You know, couldn't have cost that much, and the return on investment is probably going to be crazy because it's going to be people of all age groups trying to go check that out. Right? He said Zack definitely took some cues from, yeah, for sure, 100 point. And Necron with the common W, right? Much love. You said, we still live in a society where paid to fail is running DC. Yep. Says, Man of Steel is DCAU Superman without the dragged out love triangle. Yeah. All right. She said, but Zack doesn't know DC, right? Yeah, no, it's strange. It's strange. Dennis says Mel Brooks is a World War II vet and still making movies. Let that sink in for a second. Shenanigan says, don't say that, Sky. You're gonna get upset again. You know what? Say, nah, man, it's true, bro. right? None of them got mad. None of them got mad, bro, when that shit was happening with the DCAU, bro. Nobody got upset. Nobody was tripping, right? That Superman is the same thing that Zack was portraying. It's not that he's never smiling or that he's like super dark. He's stoic. Stoicism, people. Look it up. Tryon says, I used to not want to give the DCAU a proper try because of how many haters weaponize it against us, but you peeps are making me reconsider. No, the DCAU, bro, it's why I was so upset about like just DC as a whole, because while the movies and the live action stuff was flopping, they had something in the DCAU that was killing it. Like from Flashpoint, Paradox, all the way to Apocalypse War. They had a couple ones that was like hit or miss, but for the most part, like 80% of those movies are fucking dope. Like if we're gonna rate it out of 5, it's like at least a 4 out of 5. Like most of them are at least a 4 out of 5, or however you want to rate it. Most of them are super fucking dope. And like to sit here and be in a situation where you could have Superman be working so well in this animated version, and it's with the same shit that people are saying that they have problems with in the live action version. It vexes me that we had to have those conversations, right? Yeah. Another 2 says, if more Armyverse is in the cards, then I would recommend Netflix to release Zack Snyder's Las Vegas. Animation would be the best way to go since we've recently gone through Twilight of the Gods. Look, here is something that I'll say, and this is something that we have to really get comfortable with, right? Zack Snyder has so much shit on his plate right now, yo. Like some of these things might be a little bit, you know. And like if they're trying to keep the Army of the Dead name alive, which is what they obviously are, because they're having it be mentioned in or it's gonna be at these new venues. I think, yo, maybe they want more live action stuff. And if they only got time to do one, is they gonna be like, yo, we'd rather just have more live action stuff. You never know, right? What's going on, Austin? Man, we got the cool table in here. Much love, y'all. I'm about to put this link in the chat in 1 second so all the members can stop through. And if any of the cool table want to stop by, y'all know y'all always welcome. You dig? Says the Man of Steel cast reunion mean Henry Cavill and Russell could reunite in Zack Snyder's Justice League 2 and 3. Bruh, we know Jor-El was gonna come back. Well, no way Jor-El was just never gonna come back in that story, bro. There's no way. There's no way. Right? Much love. He said down for Twilight of the Gods season 2 as well. By the way, hey, that show was fire. We watched it here on Cartoons and Serial. That's been my favorite thing that we've watched so far. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, but it's like, you know, that shit's dope as hell. Just even the haters had to bow down. Said this nonsense 40s and 50s Superman. Most of the people were not alive. most of the people were not alive championing this shit, right? It's like, yo, we need to go back to that, bro. Says DCAU was a lit through line too. They low-key kind of did what Snyder wanted to, but a little backwards. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Rebel Moon Bloodline, July 15th. And that Nemesis comic is dropping a day after. Right? Yeah. But Rebel Moon's dead. You know what I mean? Crazy. And they got VR shit going on. What up, W Mir? You dig? All right, let's go ahead and get caught up with this, and then I'll just go ahead and drop this link in the chat so y'all can come through. Right, we are on the road to 5K. Make sure you guys are smashing that like button, hitting that subscribe, as well as that notification bell, so that you know when I'm going live. You dig? We are. Hold on, let me put this link in here real quick. Hold on. Did it from the wrong one. Hold on, because now I can't even pin it. There we go. There we go. All right, that link that is pinned in the chat is for members only. If you are not a member, you will not be allowed on stream. You dig? You dig? It's not going down. So, like I was saying, wait, what was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Road to 5K, right? Y'all already know. Hashtag sale ZSJL and hashtag sale SNYDER'S to Netflix. If y'all been rocking out with that, we appreciate you. And we got big news coming, big announcements coming. You know, we about to really turn up in a really, really big way. So make sure y'all is ready to rock out. You dig? We only ask 3 rules of engagement, which are: be positive. Please do not mix our hashtags with others, as we want to keep the messaging as focused and effective as possible. And last but certainly not least, please do not tag or mention anybody over at WBD, especially, you know, y'all know who. You know what I mean? Just rock out, and we can all rock out together and be happy. ZSJL to Netflix on YouTube and X are also platforms that you guys should be watching and subscribe to, as all pertinent information will be coming from there, as well as myself and Apex Leon of the New Geeks. If you like to sponsor a stream, when you guys give super chats, they are tallied up, and whoever donates the most will have your name scrolling across the bottom of a following stream. You dig? All right. Let's go ahead and let's get started. You did, because we on here Summer Saturday, cartoons and cereal community stream, right? He said WBD animation looks so cheap or hard to watch. Yeah, bro. And he said community tab. Oh yeah. Yeah, nah, I'm gonna put it up there. Yeah, we good. He said, we're gonna check your membership card at the door. Nah, for sure. We definitely checking in memberships, because this is for members only. You dig? He says, currently watching Minecraft. Damn, this movie is dumb. But it's a time waster. Sue me. Hey, right? He says, he said, one more thing. Shows how smart WB used to be, because they knew the OG DCAU audience was getting older. So they started the more mature DCOA OA, right? He says, now look at him. Right? Hey, man. He says, I agree, bro. I've been feeling like Captain Barbosa a lot lately. Like, agreed. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and bring the first panelist up here, first member. We got Dennis Medina in the house. What's going on?
Sir, reporting for duty.
Yo, what's going on, bro? If you
Doing
can turn
fine.
your mic down just a little bit. Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, wait, no. That's better. All right, cool.
No, it's just that I speak loud sometimes, but now
Oh,
it's
okay.
It's
How you
funny
feeling, bro?
I'm feeling great. Thank you very much. What about you?
Oh, I'm chilling today, bro. Having a wonderful day. You know what I mean? Got a little bit of stuff to do later, but I'm gonna be chilling with some family right after that. So, you know, we having a good day, bro. For real. And I'm glad to be chilling with y'all, right? For sure.
Thank you. Sorry for no camera. I
Oh, you're good, bro. As long as you're a member, you will be allowed on stream. It's all good.
Oh, great. I just got membership so I could get in.
Hey, bro, we appreciate that. You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyway, funny you mentioned Captain Barbosa because I rewatched last morning. I woke up real early, like 4 a.m. yesterday. So I decided, no, I'm gonna rewatch Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. Because I watched the movie all the time as a kid.
The second one, right?
Yeah, I had already rewatched the first one.
Fire movie, bro.
Those movies were my childhood, and I was like, now I was thinking, you know, I don't like the MCU. So one reason I got more reason to dislike the MCU, because they could have had Space Davy Jones as the main villain. As comic Thanos, you know, they could have gotten something Davy Jones style for Thanos, and instead they're making Space Pol Pot. Got it?
Yeah. Right. Here's my thing too. For anybody that was at that meetup, right? Y'all know Stino, man. Obviously, these Pirates of the Caribbean movies, they seem to have touched the nerve with a lot of people, man. We was in there going at it, bro. And shout out to the homie Stino. And he really believes this. And we're going to have this conversation. He is like of the thought of like Dead Man's Chest is the greatest sequel of all time. Right? And that the Pirates movies are like the greatest fucking franchise of all time. No, he is dead serious. And anybody that was at the meetup, we was at Six Flags, bro, and we was like going at it, bro. Right? So I actually like those movies, but obviously they touched a lot of people, man, because fuck, Dead Man's Chest was super dope. I just don't think it's the greatest sequel of all time, you know.
I haven't watched At World's End yet, but that opening I rewatched it on. We watched Pirates of the Caribbean. That I saw the opening for the third one online, and realized how great it was.
Yeah, nah. Pirates was dope. I really liked the first three. But some people didn't like the second and third, which I think is weird. Like I loved all of the first trilogy. But yeah, man.
It's a great director, Gore Verbinski.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Look, Necron said it best. Fun franchise. You know what I'm saying? For me, it was super fun, but I'm just not going. You know what I'm saying? Like he says, House of Blood Axe was good. Can't wait to read Nemesis. Hey, yeah, me either. Another two, right? And then Leon says, and to that I say, Stino needs to up his taste in film. Bruh, you remember that conversation though, right, Leon? He was absolutely there, bro. He was absolutely there. It was so crazy. It lasted. What were we in line for? Was it Batman when it really started going down? Bro, we had it out, bro. It was so crazy.
All right. My 3 favorite movies. All right. If you allow me. Batman v Superman is the best movie ever. That's my opinion. My favorite movie. My second favorite movie is Revenge of the Sith. My third favorite movie is the Hobbit trilogy. And in fact, That might be a hot take, but I think that
Wait, what? Wait, what? The Hobbit trilogy?
I love those movies. It's like they take me to somewhere else. You know, take me to this wonderful.
Not the Lord of the Rings franchise. Wait, not the first three.
I love Lord of the Rings, but I think that the Hobbit just flows better. Like it has a more. I prefer the flow of the Hobbit, and also I like the more character-driven story. You know, because Lord of the Rings it has lots of character, has lots of love. But when I want to sit down and watch a movie, I prefer to watch the Hobbit trilogy.
That's crazy, man. Bruh, I'm not even gonna front. I was so mad at the end of that second movie. I was so mad. I was hot. I was irate at the end of the second movie, bro.
Well,
I was
on one
irate,
hand,
bro.
I was also completely pissed off. I was actually infuriating, but I guess that's the idea. And it got me to read the book, so it's not that bad, you know?
Right? Yeah. Leon says, "Oh yeah, it lasted from the car ride to the park to parts of the day." Real talk. And he said, "Blasphemous. Dead Man's Chest is all right. Not the greatest sequel." Thank you, man. All right. Triton says, "Pirates of the Caribbean is yet another film franchise that needs a proper ending." I agree. And they just got to pay Johnny Depp that 301 M's. You know what I mean? And I'm sure he'll come back. Right. I'm sure he'll come back. Yeah. Hey, look, I don't think you're gonna get much agreement over here, Dennis. Look, here's why.
Fair enough.
Here is my point, right? They took what was a short story and just did too much with it, man. They tried to like turn it into 3 movies, and it's like, bro, that book is not, there's not enough there to get 3 movies.
But I think the way they did it is really good because thanks, Mama Bear. Thanks. What happens with the Hobbit? What I really like about the Hobbit is the characters, right? And the aesthetics. You know, I love how it's a world that it looks fantastical. You know, it looks like something you're getting somewhere else. I can't fully explain it.
The orcs too, man. I like the orcs more in the original.
I don't know. I think that what I really love about Hobbit is the dwarfs. Like if you read the book, each dwarf is kind of the same. You know, they kind of bungle together after some time. Okay. But in the movie, you care about every single one of those dwarfs. So when they end, when 3 of them die in the original book, well, whatever. Thorin is sad, but the other 2 I don't care. Yeah. And when they die in the Hobbit movie, your heart is completely broken, like Bilbo's. You know, he breaks you. The third movie.
Yeah. Look, I wasn't a Tolkien guy at all. I mean, I liked the Hobbit movies, but that second one pissed me off at the end. It pissed me off. I was like, yo, man, like we got this whole build up to get into the dragon, and then you get to the dragon, and then like my thing was, I was like, is the third movie just gonna be like an entire battle? And it's like, yeah, it pretty much was. And I was like,
no, I don't think. I think that first, I really like the battle. All right, I really love the battle.
Battle of the 5 armies, right?
I like all 3.
Yes, we can get deep, right? Let's get it.
No, I like all 3. I think all 3 should be considered a single movie divided in 3 parts, kind of like the SNYDER'S, a 5-part saga.
You can't do that though.
But I think so. I think I see it as a single story, right? The Hobbit trilogy. I see it as a single story. So when I listing my movies, originally I was going to say The Unexpected Journey, the first one. But then I realized that the best part in the entire Hobbit trilogy, my favorite detail of the movies, and it's going to sound weird, but the favorite moment I have in the movies is actually a payoff. In the first movie, Bilbo mentioned he forgot his napkins in the Shire, and he has to learn that he cannot use the napkins. He can't go back to grab the napkins because they are in the hurry to get to because they are already in the trip, right? And then what happens? He comes back to the Shire at the end and he finds his napkins on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
And then he stares at the napkins in the way Martin Freeman stares at those napkins. Not napkins. I think it's napkins. You know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
And then he realizes, you realize that he's a completely different person than the one who left the Shire.
Absolutely.
And I love that in the movie, you know.
I feel it. I just think it was too short of a story to divide into 3 movies like that.
I don't know. I think I get your point, but I think they added enough like background that you could enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, but it felt like filler to me, and that was the problem, right? Like, because I was digging the second movie.
Yeah, but it's good.
That's
filler.
Really when it.
It's good filler.
He said,
"I like it. It's well done."
Yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, Nessa, this is Dennis Medina, right? Yeah. Look, let me take this down.
Hi, Nessa.
I don't know why I don't got the name things up there. That's strange, right? But yeah, that's Dennis Medina. You dig? He said, "Nah, I ain't finished any of the Hobbit joints, right?" But let's get the next panel member up here. We got the homie Rebel Moon Theory stopping through. What's going on, RMT? Oh wait, and before you say anything, let me highlight this, and this is absolutely true. ZSJL was DC's, bro. I always say that. I was like, look, man, when I was trying to pitch the Snyder Cut to all of my friends, I was like, yo, especially Stino, because he loved Lord of the Rings. I was like, bruh, it's like Justice League by the way of Lord of the Rings. He was like, man, ain't no way you fucking right, bro. Like, he's always say I was wrong. Then when the Snyder Cut came out, he was like, nah, you was absolutely right. And yeah, man, it wasn't like it was Justice League by the way of the Hobbit movies, bro. Yeah, I'm saying, but nah, I'm just joking. But look, Rebel Moon Theory, what's going on, bro? How you feeling, man?
Yo, can y'all hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yo, I'm doing absolutely wonderful. I've been really busy cooking up behind the scenes for the upcoming Rebel Moon Bloodline trending event. And y'all know what's coming. Y'all ain't ready. That's all I could say. But recently, other than that, I've actually been going back and I bought some old Xbox 360 games I used to play because I recently got an Xbox Series X around in like January, I think, and I decided,
great choice.
Absolutely. And I recently bought Black Ops 2, and I've been playing that quite a bit later on. And not only that, I recently finished Halo 2. And
my God.
Yep. Game.
Wait a minute. This your first time playing Halo 2 ever?
The campaign, yes.
Oh my God, bro. Wait a minute. This is about to be so great. I cannot believe I get to hear somebody's take on playing Halo 2 for the first time at 37 years old. Bro, okay. What's your thoughts on the campaign, bro?
Yo, so I will say, before I get into that, I will say, throughout my life, I've only played the only Halo game that I was really super into was Halo Reach. That was like the only one I was mostly into. I have played a little bit of Halo 4, including the campaign. I never finished it, unfortunately. I've also played a little bit of Halo Infinite's multiplayer. I still haven't played the campaign for that. Now, going on to Halo 2, before that, I played the campaign for Halo 1. I thought it was a really fantastic game. Then I played Halo 2 Remastered.
You're gonna go mute, Dennis, because we can hear you typing.
Sorry.
No. All good. What are you saying?
So I was playing Halo 1 on Master Chief Collection, and I played Halo 2, and I played the remaster version. And yo, this game, like I hadn't played enough of the multiplayer, but the campaign I will say was that game was absolutely fun. I don't know. Should I spoil it?
I mean, Halo 2's been out forever, bro.
Okay. Yeah, so you have I think what I really liked about this game is that you were able to play against like two characters because like you're playing as Master Chief throughout, the barriers, and then like
all of a sudden, in a stroke of genius, you're playing as the enemy.
Yep,
right?
exactly.
All of a sudden, bruh, all of a sudden you're look, that's the thing that what's that fucking show and game? The Last of Us Part 2 tried to pull off, and they failed at it miserably.
Yep.
Right?
Anyone here? I actually playing on an emulator Ace Combat 4, right? And they do something similar in that one, right? In that in the gameplay, you're playing as the allies, quote unquote. They call it the ISAF, but it's based on NATO mixed with the allies in World War II.
Yeah.
And then in the cutscenes, you're seeing through a civilian who is friends with the occupying forces of Eurasia, with the enemy, with your quote unquote villain, your antagonist forces. So I found that really interesting, and that's kind of what Halo 2 did, right?
Yeah, and they did it probably better than anybody else has done it like ever before, because it's totally out of nowhere, and it's done in such a beautiful way. Like, and it's funny because to this day, my dad, there's this line from Halo 2 that always kind of cracked him up, which is when they was asking the fucking elite who was about to become the arbiter. He was like, yo, when you saw the Halo ring, were you blinded by its majesty? Right? And he was like, you pretty much asking him like, yo, is this how you fucked up? Like, but it was like just that kind of writing had never been seen before in any kind of game, especially when it was such a curveball kind of thrown at you to be playing as the hero all in the first game, and then you start off in the second game and it's the same thing, and then all of a sudden you're playing as the enemy, and then you're seeing their whole backstory and what happened with them and why they are the way they are. It was just true stroke of genius. But
bro, the Grave Mind, my reaction to the Grave Mind was like, I was like, wow, that's pretty insane. What's up?
No, I actually played the remastered when I was playing. And like, if the Gravemind is scary in the original, in the remaster, oh my god! Like,
yeah,
I consider the Halo 2 remaster one of the best remasters ever made. By the way,
yeah,
seriously,
bro, we need. I'm still shocked that we hadn't got a Halo 3 remastered. That's what we need right now.
Nah, it's coming, bro.
Yeah,
but if I'm not mistaken, they're gonna remake the first one first, and then there's gonna be a third. There's gonna be a remaster of 3, or possibly even like a remake. So yeah, right. Yeah, but it was just so crazy, man. It's just there are so many things, and look, and y'all know who else love Halo? Zack Snyder. Real shit. Loves Halo. Real shit. You know what I mean? Like, and Christopher Nolan does too. Man, look, y'all goats of filmmaking think that my favorite franchise is like one of the greatest shits ever. Fact.
Well, by the way, I'm more of a fan of the Halo books than the movies, and that's a hot take, I know, but I'm a big fan of the Halo books.
I was actually at a Barnes and Noble a few days ago, and I saw that they had some Halo books, and I was thinking about picking one of them up. Like
Forerunner trilogy, that's god tier sci-fi literature. Like, I want Nolan to do the Halo present, like, and then call Zack to do the Forerunner trilogy.
Yeah, man. Look, dude, I'm telling y'all, man, that shit is begging. That's why that show was so disappointing, right? And that's why that show was so disappointing because, man, oh man, oh man, you know, for all of you guys that saw District 9, a little bit of trivia is District 9. Everybody loves that movie, right? That was supposed to be the Halo movie.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be the Halo movie.
It was Neil Blomkamp or Peter Jackson was right.
Nope. It was originally Peter Jackson, and then Peter handed it off to Neil Blomkamp, and they were gonna make that movie. They were working on it, everything. That shit would have been incredible. And then right at the last second, they pulled the plug, but they already had all of these, pre-production and all this stuff done, and they were like, fuck it. So they just changed some stuff up and made it into District 9. So that man, bruh.
Speaking of Neil Blomkamp, I think you're gonna give us some good news. But I have this theory, all right? This theory, his hopeful thought, actually, is more wishful thinking in theory. But since Neil Blomkamp was going to make the Halo movie, now he's tied up with a book, Starship Troopers movie, right? I think he's gonna take many ideas from his Halo movies, or at least style-wise, and take to the Starship Troopers movie. I think he's gonna make that Starship Troopers movie the Halo movie he was supposed to make. Because if you look at both franchises, they are very similar. If you read the Starship Troopers book, you can see how much it inspired Halo.
Yeah, but I would say Halo's biggest inspiration.
The ODST are literally the mobile infantry. The whole dropping on pods from space and is the mobile infantry with all the jetpacks. That's it.
There's some inspiration. I would say that the biggest inspiration though was Aliens, man. I don't think there's any movie outside of Aliens that is the biggest, from Jackson to I'm saying, literally Jackson was a fucking character, right?
But Aliens was also inspired by Starship Troopers, the book. It was on the reading list. The actors had to read Starship Troopers to get into the military mindset.
Okay.
So,
Hey,
that's my
I guess you got me there, right? Triton says Snyder also loves Gears of War, which would be perfect to make a film of. Chad Stahelski, the guy from John Wick, he is making the Gears of War movie. That was just announced recently.
Paint another comment right there about Doom.
Hold on.
Quickly.
1 second.
I need to make a comment.
We'll love a Doom movie directed by Snyder.
The Doomslayer's face on Doom Eternal is based on Michael Shannon. So Michael Shannon would be a better pick.
Right. Okay, wait, hold on, right? Let me answer your question, Nessa. No, it's not just because Master Chief took off his helmet, right? That was the first inclination that we were on the wrong path, right? Because if you guys don't know, this fucking character has been around since 2001 Halo came out?
Yep, 2001.
Right? Since 2001. Here we are 24 years later, and I still do not know what Master Chief looks like. Right? I still don't know. The closest we've ever gotten is at a legendary ending. They had a close-up of his eyes. You know what I mean? Literally, all you saw was right here. That's the closest we've ever seen. Right? We've never seen his face in 24 years. And at the end of the first fucking episode, he takes his helmet off. And I was like, wait a minute, huh? Right? I was like, whoa. This can't be right? And I'm sitting there and my mind instantly went to, okay, obviously they're trying to set a precedent. Or no, I was like, yo, maybe they're just going to get it out of the way early so that you just know what he looks like. And then they continue on and he has his helmet on. Absolutely not. right? And then we get to a place where, I mean, the first season had pretty much like nothing to do with the game. There's characters that's like race swapped, all this other stuff. Like, you know, we get very little things, and they added in all these new characters that like just had nothing to do with any of the games, right? Because all you really see is like military personnel for the most part. But nah, now it's like all these cities, and you know, hey, we got the little Asian girl that we're following around. I'm like, yo, what the hell is this, right? But hey, still trying to be hopeful. Still trying to be hopeful, right? And then by the time that we get to season 2, right? Like, because I'm thinking, hey, they learned their lesson with the first fucking season. He had his helmet off. Everybody got mad, right? So why would you double down on that with season 2? I'm thinking there's no way that they're going to double down on it. They absolutely did. He had his fucking suit off for more in season 2 than he did for the first one, right? Like for a good chunk of the fucking for a good chunk of the season, his armor was across the galaxy, right? And so I'm like, yo, what are we doing? Like, we've never seen this guy without his armor. His armor is across the galaxy. He's walking around. He's fucking behaving in all these ways that just aren't really Master Chief-like. And then, well, wait, last thing. And I will continue to say this. When it got to the point when we had albino blind Spartan who was also gay mentoring a racially ambiguous lesbian disabled Spartan, I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now, bro? Like, these things.
No, but the Spartans, they're raised from childhood to go to war. Why would they pick a blind kid to be a Spartan?
No, these weren't. Yeah, no, it was like he like lost his vision later, right?
But he's still a Spartan.
No, he was like a Spartan. He like trained Spartans now.
Oh,
right. So
bad,
like,
still
yeah,
absurd.
But no, man, no, man. Like, I was just asking myself, I'm like, bro, and for anybody that thinks that sounds crazy, all I'm doing is just correctly identifying what was happening in the show. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, what the who the fuck is this show for? I'm like, we ain't got no needlers, we ain't got no plasma rifles, ain't no plasma grenades, bro. Like, ain't no brutes. I'm like, what the hell?
Sky.
Bro, can I get a ghost? A fucking, you know what I mean? Can I get like something that is a semblance from the fucking Halo game? Please? Like, what the fuck is going? I don't think I'm crazy.
One second. Now you know how I feel about Starship Troopers, all right? The movie.
Oh my God, man. Yo, that's not.
No, it is. When you read the book, it has nothing to do with the movie, all right? There's like,
I get it.
I love military science fiction,
but that's different.
But Hollywood doesn't know how to do military science fiction. They had some hits, but very few.
That was different, man. He said, keep it. She said, nah, but I understand where you're coming. That's what I'm saying, right? He says, don't forget, in season 1, he went fully naked and had sex with the Covenant POW. That's facts. Right?
One more thing.
I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on, bro? Why is Master Chief having sex scenes? What is going on?
I'm glad I didn't watch the show now.
You know that Master Chief is in the books. Apparently, he in the books that this what I heard, he's actually a celibate, right? Because they actually he's basically sexual because
it's the end of the world, dog. He don't come out of that suit. Like, what are we doing? He doesn't come out of the suit, bro. He's either in the suit or he's like or look, he either in the suit walking around, or he in cryo sleep or some shit. You know what I mean? Like he literally be on like some wake me when you need me. Right? Like, what is going on, bro? What is no. He said, here we go. He said, I like some of the Halo show, but definitely got the diversity and inclusion memo going hard, right? No, and what was crazy is they started out season 2 with a dope ass action scene, and everybody got fooled except me. I was like, man, I ain't going for this shit. Right? They started it out with a super badass action scene. And I was like the first 2 episodes, I think, were like really action heavy. And all of a sudden, bow, suit halfway across the fucking galaxy. And we got to deal with John for most. I'm like, yo, what is going on, bro? See it.
Yo, I did want to. There was actually something I did want to ask you guys, because I don't think I've ever talked about this with you guys. But so we had Bungie, who developed the first few Halo games, which they developed Halo 1, 2, 3, Reach. After that, it was 343 Industries.
Yep.
And after that, Bungie went to go develop Destiny. And I'm really, at first, I really love Destiny. I really love that world that Bungie built out. But when they got to the second game, I think that was where they kind of screwed up, in my opinion. But I actually wanted to ask you guys what y'all thought about Destiny.
Well, here's the thing with Bungie, because as you guys, I was like, I'm a super big fucking Halo fan, so I was locked in, bro. By the time that they even got to Destiny, that was mostly not the same people that worked on Halo, mostly. And then by the time Destiny 2 came around, those were none of the people that worked on Halo. So like, I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like, Bungie is not the Bungie of old. It is not the same people at all. It's just not.
What happened, guys, is that when the devs that made the Halo trilogy, they left Bungie to make 6 Days in Fallujah, actually. Apparently, some of them, they went there and made 6 Days in Fallujah instead. So,
and we know what turned out with that, right? But let me bring the newest panel member up here. We got the homie stopping through, Apex Leon. You dig? What's going on, Brody?
Yo. What's happening? Syndicate Network, Skywalker channel. What's good, baby? What's good?
Chilling, man. Having a chill little community stream. You know what I mean? Just in here shooting the shit, right? What's going on with you, bro?
Man, just laughing at the conversation with Halo, because, bro, I couldn't agree more. You know what's crazy? Real quick, did y'all like Pablo? So that's literally what I was about to touch on. Imagine being like a diehard Halo fan, right? And which I'm a big Halo fan too. It's in my top 5 to 10. Like Sky is definitely, that's his number 1, John. But like, imagine, you know, the lore.
Salute, Triton.
You know what I'm saying? Shout out to the chat. What's up, Mama Bear? You know the lore. He don't take off his helmet, etc., etc. And then all of a sudden, right, he takes his helmet off.
In episode 1.
Not only does he do that, but it's Pablo Schreiber, the random guy from Orange Is the New Black. That's come on, bro. Like, listen. If Pedro Pascal can keep his helmet on for 99.9% of the Mandalorian, who are you, bro?
Yeah.
And I ain't blaming him. I'm just using him as a, as a foil for the conversation. But yeah, that whole production was ridiculous.
Yeah. I don't even know if I blame him for that. You know what I think happened? I think they wanted to differentiate themselves from the Mandalorian, and probably was like, we can't have a show where he doesn't take his helmet off too.
Which is dumb. Like,
absolutely dumb.
You want to include yourself in the marketing of the Mandalorian. You want to meme. It's so dumb when Hollywood does this like faux competitive crap. We don't want to look like that. Y'all do that shit all the time.
Yeah.
People remember, what was that? The 2 Meteor movies that came out damn near, I think, the same year.
Deep Impact and Armageddon.
Yeah.
And what was the 2 date movies that came out where it was like Ashton Kutcher and then like dude from NSYNC? It was
I don't
basically the
remember.
same damn movie.
But we also have the White House down and Olympus Has Fallen too.
Facts. Like,
And
there's
they
always
canceled the
copying.
Snyderverse to make an MCU ripoff. Don't remember that. Remember that. They
The what now?
canceled they canceled the Snyderverse because they wanted to do an MCU ripoff. And Zack didn't.
Right. But you know what I'm saying? Like, they rip each other off all the time, sometimes in the same damn year.
Yeah, didn't Troy have another Swords and Sandals movie that it just came out around that time too?
Yeah, facts. It was like, I'm gonna look that up actually.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, no, it's happened like plenty of fucking times, bro. Plenty of times.
Oh, and like, yeah, movies take inspirations from each other. Like, that's how Hollywood works. So you cannot get the I want to differentiate myself, especially when the idea of the character has enough. Yeah, like
Alexander, I think is what we're thinking.
There are examples of making spiritual antithesis that worked. Like I always give the example of what was that movie with Michael Caine, the Icarus File. You know the movie?
The Icarus File?
Icarus.
Icarus, right? Yeah.
Icarus. Icarus.
Oh, Icarus. No, I haven't heard.
Actually, I think that's the movie that got Michael Caine as Alfred, by the way.
We need to get fucking Millennial Mike up here for that. You know what I mean?
Let me just show you guys a picture if you guys let me.
Huh?
Let me
go
just share quickly. Here. Like the movie, it was made because the audience, because they knew that James Bond was getting too much on the adventure side, and one of the guys who liked the thriller side of the story. So they made it Icarus File, which has a more thriller style. And that's a great example of making a movie that's different but still takes influence. But the thing is, the Icarus File was an IP that was already differentiated from the Bond movies, right? While Halo has its core identity of Master Chief that doesn't take the helmet off. And that is character based.
Yeah.
Because the Master Chief, he's meant to be a professional. He's meant to be a guy who has no life outside of serving
he's a fucking military super soldier.
Who was raised from childhood to be a super soldier. He has no life besides fighting. And that's the point. He's more robot than he's a person in terms of psychology. The robot is more human than he is. Cortana, right?
Yeah, his AI.
Yeah.
Which is why it balances.
How did they handle Cortana?
Huh?
How did they handle Cortana?
Bro, especially by the time that we get because look, season 1, it was like okay, right? They was trying to do this thing where like she is like part of the problem pretty much too, because she's pretty much going along with everything. You know, and then in this fucking second season, bro, she wasn't even like with him for most of the bro. I'm telling you, that's what I mean, bro. It's like they just separated everything that was dope about Halo, and it was like, yo, we're gonna take everything that y'all love and put it off until season 3. That's what pissed me off too, because I'm like, how fucking dare you? How dare you know that you messed up with the first season, and then you say, okay, so we're gonna get on your nerves even more with season 2, but then leave in a place where we're gonna be starting where you would be at in the first game at the beginning. It's like, no, man, no. You can't do that, because I'm not gonna watch any fucking third season because you pissed me off too much with the second. Now I don't care anymore.
Yeah, I never understand franchises that destroy their core audience viewership. You know what I'm saying? Like, the people who are into this stuff are going to be the ones that push word of mouth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man.
At least because nowadays people for some reason, executives think that word of mouth is less important than critics and influencers. And that's what's horrible. They want to appease the critics and the influencers. Just look at DC. They want to appease half a dozen critics and influencers. They don't watch the damn thing, then appease their actual audience.
Oh man, hold on.
Speaking of DC,
whoever is in the back, if you aren't a member, this stream is for this panel's for members only. So you got to be a member to come on the panel. I don't know if you heard that when I said it at the beginning of the stream. So, yep. But yeah, man, nah, ain't nothing. See, and somebody else brought up Judge Dredd, right? But you know, this bro, ain't no way, bro. Like, you can't. Okay, bro. Hold up. No, let me. There we go. Yep. Anyway, read back chat. I'm a member. No, you're not. No, you're not. And what's even crazier, bro, is people shout out to them. Oh my god, bro. You know you wouldn't say that shit to my face. You know what's funny? We got Corey in the chat. I was just about to fucking send y'all the message after this stream is done for sure. Hey, hit me up, Corey, because I gotta ask you something. Ain't that crazy? I was legit about to hit Corey up after this stream. That's wild. Much love to Super Bro. All right,
man. So beating them. Let me stop.
Hey, you see this fucking back chat, right?
Yeah, I took a screenshot too. Yeah, for sure.
Right. Sure. Yeah, man. He said, but look, back to my Halo rant, man, because I'm about to close this out, right? This whole Halo topic, at least. Once again, because look, let me all right. I think that I can just use this one. She says, well, I'll say that I didn't like them changing Cortana. What I will say to that is, you know, there are lots of things, you know, that I've been able to kind of see when it comes to like fan outrage on the internet. And a lot of times I'm like, man, I don't know why people be crashing out over certain stuff. I didn't get it until this. Like, to see something that I have been, and it's not even just that, right? It's also the fact that we don't get many adaptations of certain stuff, right? Yeah. And when things like Halo that took so fucking long for us to get anything from it, which is even weird in and of itself, right? Because there's been franchises that we've seen more transmedia stuff from that I think have been less popular, right? And so for us to have waited so long for something like that to have like come to fruition, it's wild when you got to wait that long and then they pretty much make whatever it is for a different audience. Like, that's not cool, man. You have to serve the core audience, man. Like, that is who is going to pay to see your stuff over and over again. That is who is going to create that word of mouth that you're going to need to carry you into, like, you know, the that mass general audience appeal, because everybody goes to their friends that know about this kind of stuff. So everybody that, you know, had just heard me talking about Halo, they all asked me, how did I feel about that show? And when I was going in, everybody's like, oh, well, I'm not going to watch it now. And then that leads to less viewership, right? Whereas if the core audience was served, I think that it would have went the other way, right? But hopefully this Nolan thing is true, man. and
I
that
hope so too, man.
because yeah, yo, we already got the Gears franchise in some pretty good hands with the dude from John Wick making the movie. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would have loved for Zach to do that, but Zach got bigger shit on his plate right now. You know what I mean?
Before you close out this Halo topic, I just got to say this. I think it's actually very, very, and this may sound a little hyperbolic, but I think it's very important that a guy like a Nolan or someone comes along and redoes Halo, because it's one of the latest, most egregious examples of, I'll just say, Hollywood tampering of, a beloved brand or IP, right? And for somebody to come through that would actually nurture this thing to what it's supposed to be, right? Some semblance of what it's supposed to be, right? Or even elevate it. That would show everybody. It would be a reverse of what's been happening. Like, that sounds very simple, but it matters for optics in the grand scheme of things going forward for years to come. Like, what are we going to do, and what are they going to do? How are they going to show us that we can trust them with beloved franchises, right? They got to do something like this. They would have to come back and right this wrong.
Yeah, bro. Nah, it's
a lot. It's going to show a lot of good faith in fans.
You're right. It is so imperative that they get this shit right, man. It's too big of a franchise, bro. It's like too big, and honestly, I think that's why. First of all, you even had statements from like Phil Spencer, the head of Xbox, that was like, "Yo, we're not done making Halo stuff, shows, movies, all that," and he pretty much admitted, like, we know we fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm like, yo, thank you, but just fix it. I just wouldn't want this to be one of those things where they come out and give lip service and then turn around and do the same thing, right? But yeah. Case in point, Resident Evil series. Yeah, because look, something like Fallout, that show was dope, and it had a lot of people watching it. And I also think that, they kind of took that into account looking at, Halo. It's like, yo, Fallout didn't stray too far, right? Like, they had all the callbacks. I'm not even the hugest Fallout fan, but I was watching it and I was catching all kind of little callbacks and shit. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I could just imagine somebody that's an actual fan of that franchise, right?
By the way, Fallout is Jonathan Nolan.
Oh, Fallout is what?
Jonathan Nolan. He was the one who made Fallout. The show.
Fire show, man. Fire show, right? And that says, I'm so down with that. I saw the potential with the series, and yeah, man. Nah, Halo is like one of them ones, man, because it's so deep and it's so much lore. Starting with Halo 2, like what Rebel Moon Theory was saying. It's like, bruh, that second game, it opened it up in so many ways. That first one was groundbreaking, just the story, but that second one, it just was groundbreaking in hella ways, yo.
And then you get into the third game, bro. After playing the second one, man, I'm gonna try. If I'm not like super busy today, I kind of want to go back and play more Halo 3 because that game is really fire.
Yeah, man. Right. And then he says, I heard you guys liked Dune. Yeah, good movie. Show is mid, but I'd watch it season 2. Back on zombies, I think The Last of Us season 2 would have done better with Callie as Ellie. So yeah, the cast is important. He says, but season 3 sounds better with Abby as the leading character. Man, I'm done with that show, bro. I was done after season 1. I already knew where the story was going. I don't like Neil Druckmann's sensibilities and his stories. Yeah, I just don't really rock with it, and I'm done with that show. I'm gonna just keep it a buck.
Yeah. Same here, man.
Yeah,
it's sad that the video game adaptation is still struggling, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're getting hits. It's just that, we're in that space now where, I mean, some of these things, I don't think it was smart to, like, case in point, I would have rather them done a Last of Us movie and like do movies, right? Instead of these shows, And it's really unfortunate because that for second game, the gameplay is amazing. It is probably like one of the best playing games ever, hands down.
Yeah,
But that story, but that story is just a lot of people didn't rock with the story. It just didn't.
Yeah.
And he seems to, and Neil Druckmann seems to be doubling down with his sensibilities with this next game. What's it called? Intergalactic, whatever. But yeah, man, I'm not rocking with The Last of Us. And that's why that third game got pushed back and they had to go do something else. That's literally why. Because the reaction to Last of Us 2 was that bad. So why would you go start a show, right, knowing you're going to have to go into season 2 and everybody's going to be hyped and then the ratings are going to fall off a cliff once everybody sees what happens to Joel, which is exactly what happened. Everybody could have predicted that shit.
That's why I think it's important for them to go fix stuff like Halo. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's a wrap for Last of Us. Ain't nobody going back to go fix that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it ain't even got that much of a following.
No, because the second game, the story fucking tanked it all anyway. So like,
exactly. So like the fan base itself was like, nah, I'm good. There are people out there that were for some reason tuning in and hanging on and, oh my god, this and that happens and oh, when such and such dies, and it's like, whatever. I'm over the whole zombie, whatever you want to call it, era anyway. Like, I'm just kind of over it. Except for that new movie that came out, 28 Years or whatever. I still want to rock with that because that's a dope franchise.
I'm gonna go check that out. And
but like the
don't forget
genre as a whole, I'm good on it.
And look, he was the one that popularized the fast moving zombies too. That was
sure
100% from 28 days later.
I know there is one zombie franchise I wouldn't mind a TV show, but that is COD Zombies, just because of how convoluted the lore is. I want to see someone try to pull that off.
Call of Duty Zombies, right? Hey, that does have its own story, 100%. Right? We need a Call of Duty movie too. I wouldn't mind. Right?
Yo, since we're talking about Call of Duty Zombies, I wanted to ask y'all, what's y'all's like favorite like COD Zombies map from Treyarch?
That's hard.
Yeah, I'm not really in the zombies. That's like a Steno.
Aesthetically,
that is
or gameplay wise,
he is
because
the zombie king. You know what I mean?
I was for Heisendrach from Black Ops 3. That map, I love. So Heisendrach's like a castle map in Germany or Austria, and I don't think I did the Easter egg. Like, I don't think I did the. There was some other Easter egg on there, but the one that I mostly did on that map, so you had like these bows, and the bow had like 4 elements. You could get a skull bow, the wolf bow, the lightning bow, and the fire bow. I would get all the bows. I would get together with all my friends, get all the bows, and we would just be getting all the bows, getting Juggernaut, and we'd be sitting there surviving like the entire time. It used to be so much fun. But something else too I wanted to mention now with Call of Duty, and I don't know if some of y'all will agree with me on this, for those that are like super into like the campaigns and the multiplayers. I play a little bit of Black Ops 6. I may try out Black Ops 7, but I think there is one Call of Duty that needs to happen. We need to get a sequel to Ghost, because I really love the first Ghost campaign. Like, I get some people weren't like, they had a little bit of issues on it, but that game left off with a cliffhanger.
I'll tell you exactly what happened with Ghost. I will tell you exactly what happened because I was there and I remember exactly why that game died. 100%. Ghost died and people didn't like the campaign because unfortunately Call of Duty Ghost came out right around the release of Titanfall. I don't think you guys remember when Titanfall came out. It completely changed the way that people were looking at these kind of like military shooters. So when you had a choice between a regular looking and playing Call of Duty and this game where it was literally made by the people that made some of the best Call of Duties, and it felt like Call of Duty, but it was 5 times faster, and you have all these Titans in it and mechs and all this stuff. You know, it was just not really much of a comparison, and that's why Ghost kind of died out.
What I think about Ghost, if you guys mind I saying.
Much love, Nessa.
I think that Ghost was kind of, I'm South American, right? So I know a lot about like politics and all that stuff around here, all the geopolitical situation in South America. And I actually think that the idea of an alliance between of the federation, right? Of alliance between anti-Americans and anti-US, anti-Western factions in South America who want to destroy the United States in the West, supported by Eastern powers like the Federation. I think it was great, but I think they kind of wasted it just making generic, invading the United States instead, using them as an excuse to have an enemy that wasn't the Russians,
Mm-hmm.
If you ask me, I think they should have taken the idea, but they should have had the story be solely on South America. Yeah. I don't know if that is just I'm being Brazilian, but I think if they had set the story on South America and not having the levels in the US, I think it would have been better.
Mm-hmm.
Have them be a regional power, was growing and is a rising power, and you have to stop them before they become a threat to the US. I think that would be better.
I feel it, right? And I definitely remember playing those games, yo. I am gonna be closing this out in like the next 20 minutes because I got something that I gotta go do. So yeah, we're about 25 minutes left. But before we start wrapping up, I want to thank everybody for being on the panel. This has been a great conversation, you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad we can just come on here and have these type of talks and just talk about some random shit because by
the way,
I love tapping in with the members and hearing from you guys.
By the way, guys, just one more thing. Black Ops 2 was set yesterday, or the day before yesterday. Just pointing that out. Black Ops 2 was set the 19th of June 2025.
Yeah. Hey, and Black Ops 2 had a lot of stuff in it that it's so funny because that story was about China and the US kind of being in a war over microchips and stuff like that. And it was wild.
And there's extremist movements rising with Menendez, So it's kind of prophetic in a way.
Yeah. And then you look at first of all, look.
But I prefer Black Ops 1. That movie made me love history and rock music.
Yeah. That was a super dope game. But let me say this before we close out the Call of Duty topic, right? That last Black Ops was fucking dope, yo. I really like that campaign. And I'm so excited that they're going to Black Ops 7 and that we're gonna go back to the future and it's gonna be a little bit more futuristic gameplay. I'm actually really excited by that. And again, Menendez is back, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really curious as to where the story is gonna go, seeing as how they did predict a whole lot, or at least kind of was hinting at things happening that literally kind of came true later. So I'm really looking forward to that. But are there any last kind of topics or conversations that each you guys want to talk about? I will start with you, Curly Ray.
Just wanted to say thank you for having me on the panel, man, for having these wonderful talks and conversations. And I'm definitely cooking up behind the scenes. I can't wait to rock out with Rebel Moon Bloodline with everyone. I think it's going to be an incredible game. And it was great, wonderful getting to talk to you, Sky, Leon, Dennis. And this has been a wonderful morning. And I can't wait to Can't wait to tap in with y'all later.
All right. And look at Sin Havoc saying Titanfall was literally rewriting FPS games. That's what I mean,
Sure
bro.
was.
We see some people over here is in the know, bro. Titanfall is like low key gameplay wise. That shit's like the best, bro. I can't, bro. I've never had as much fun playing any first person shooter as I have playing Titanfall. It's like every match is like a Michael Bay fucking movie, bro. Every single match.
Just one more thing. Speaking of video games, my dream game is LA Noir sequel. That's all. That's all I'm going to say.
Hey, I loved LA Noir. I just didn't like the ending, but I think I was a little young to understand. Right? Yeah.
I love that ending. I think it is because it's meant to emulate Chinatown and LA Confidential and all those film noirs. So it fits perfectly the genre is trying to tell. Like many darker police procedures end on this like bleak or at the very least very bittersweet note.
Yeah.
So I like
that shit came out on in 2011. Yeah, I don't think I was like really kind of tapped in with that ending back then. But I can remember it now, and I'm like a little bit better with it. But yeah, just at the time I was like, what? I was hot. You know what I mean?
I didn't like it at the time as well, to be honest.
Yeah, because I was a kid, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Kind of in certain aspects. In 2011, right? But yeah, man, much love. And Dennis, any kind of like last topics or things that you want to bring up before we start closing out?
Not really.
Right.
I'm done. I'm happy.
Much love to the bro, and thank you for pulling up. You know what I'm saying? Leon,
need to go. Bye.
Any topics that you want to get to before we start closing out?
Metal Gear Solid Delta.
Hey.
You should have known.
MGS, bro.
Anybody on the panel a Metal Gear fan, other than myself and Sky, that is.
I'll enjoy it for the thriller aspects. You know, I think it's a very well told
Get him
story.
out of here. Get him out.
No, I like it. I really like Metal Gear.
The enthusiasm isn't there. All right.
Right. I really like Metal Gear. I think it's great.
You see me turn the camera off, bro? I was about to boot him, dog.
I know. I saw that.
No, it's because my head is on somewhere else, but I really like Metal Gear. Sometimes confusing, sometimes weird, but I like the charm, the fact that Kojima makes the game he wants to make and fuck everyone else.
Yeah, it's really the only game franchise that's like screw the norm. This isn't gonna be, cookie cutter. You're gonna fire that bad boy up. You think you're gonna have a basic game, and it never is. Never, ever. It's never what you think it is. It's never just, go inside buildings, steal things, and get out, rescue girl. No, all the games we just talked about are not as
boss
deep
fight with
as Metal Gear.
Sorrow, bro.
Man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Delta though. You saw was Python Selkin? He had a video saying he had some concerns or whatever. Man, I ain't even watch it, bro, because I was like, man, look, I ain't concerned, bro. That's
shit. Him trying to get you hype, bro.
I know. That's why I ain't gonna click on it, bro. You're not gonna get me like that.
Fall for it.
You're not gonna get me like that, bro.
He said Call of Duty games also was being used to recruit for the military, CIA, and FBI. You wanna know why I fucking know that that's true? Because I went, dog. They got me. Nah, I'm just joking. Where I went, I was like, yo, this is just like the Call of Duty games, bro, right? Oh, yeah, I know what this is, the M203 grenade launcher, right? Yeah. Bloom.
Would y'all say that?
I have this joke that a guy joins the CIA because of Black Ops, and then he spends the entire rest of his life writing a report on a desk. And it has all his requests for the government refusal over bureaucracy. That would be funny. I want that spy movie. The guy sitting on a desk writing a report every day.
That's such a funny go over people's head joke. But would y'all say that COD is probably the most accurate when it comes to firearms and
Arma.
Absolutely not.
military gameplay? Okay, no,
Absolutely
Arma
not.
okay,
3.
okay.
I
Arma
would
3.
Just
Absolutely
checking
not.
because I know some people who
Battlefield.
swear by it, and I'm just like,
Battlefield.
okay.
Battlefield. Yeah,
Battlefield,
that's what
baby.
I'm talking
Bruh.
about.
Guys,
Listen,
Wasn't
guys.
Battlefield the
listen,
first one that
That's
was
because
like, if you
listen.
get hit in a vital area, it's a wrap? It's not just like
I'm not sure about
No.
none of that.
No,
But let me
Arma
say
3.
this.
Arma 3.
Look,
The Arma
Arma,
games
I don't
are
count the Arma
basically a
games, bro.
simulation.
I don't
Okay?
count the Arma games because I'm talking about like mainstream games.
Oh,
bro.
got it.
Yes, mainstream games. Because of course Arma and all those, trust me, like that's another fucking thing, right? But out of like the mainstream games, bro, listen to me. I'm being so fucking serious. The audio in Battlefield is so realistic. I couldn't play it for a while.
nah, because it takes you back, right?
I'm so fucking serious.
Yeah.
Bro. That
No,
audio,
Battlefield
that
is
shit, it sounds real, bro. I'm not joking. I'm not joking whatsoever. And like that is like the game that like in terms of like, yo, if it's like a real, not saying like that all this stuff
Gameplay.
is like, you know what I'm saying, like the realist, but in terms of like immersion and realistic feeling and sounding shit, mainstream, it's Battlefield by a fucking mile, bro.
Yeah,
that sound is crazy.
I think that Battlefield. I just think that Battlefield deserves a better campaign. I think their campaign should be like big scope. Like COD's about special forces, so Battlefield should make about infantry and tanks and vehicles. You know, about the battles instead of making Call of Duty is all about special forces. So the campaign reflects that. So I think Battlefield should invest in making campaigns about massive shootouts. You know, with hundreds of troops on the ground in the campaign. You know.
Yeah, bro. Battlefield, when the bullets be whizzing by and you can hear that, bro. It's like I legit couldn't play that game for quite some time.
I feel, bro, like what you're describing is why I don't really like playing quote unquote realistic military games in the first place, bro. Like I think I told you this before. I prefer like a Halo, a Mass Effect, and a Metal Gear where it's like we out in space. Yeah, it's stylized. Like I can disconnect from that thought process because, bro, especially when I was in the military, I just got kind of like.
Have you guys seen
it just
that
bothered me
Korean?
and affected me more than any other type of game. Like when you're
Have you
playing like a
guys-
Call of Duty, bro. Man, I used to be like,
Just one thing. Have you guys seen that Korean stealth thriller game that was announced on Xbox? I think.
What's it called?
Mutant Two Hearts, I think.
Oh, Mudang, the Two Hearts, or
It's
I
like
don't know if
Metal Gear.
Yeah. No, that shit looked crazy.
Splinter Cell.
No,
but
What's
that
it called?
movie looked crazy, bro. You know what? I'll actually pull this up. I actually don't mind pulling this up because that trailer was that fucking hard, bro. That trailer was that hard. I don't mind watching this shit.
You said it's like Metal Gear, so I'm like, hold on, what? Wait, what?
Sort of. It's like mixed with a lot of shit.
Splinter Cell. I would say that, what it looks to me is the story is more Splinter Cell in the terms conspiracy in this presentation, but it has supernatural elements of a Metal Gear.
Yeah, I'm with another two. Splinter Cell was cool. I don't hate it. It was cool. It was a cool franchise.
The only Ghost Recon game I played was Ghost Recon Wildlands, where you're out and
y'all bugging. Fucking.
I played the original.
Once Metal Gear was out, bro, I couldn't get past anything.
Bro, Chaos Theory, bro. Look,
it was cool. Like I said, but
fucking Splinter Cell.
I really love Blacklist. I used to play Blacklist, but I couldn't pass the Guantanamo level. It was so annoying.
I guess.
But Splinter Cell was the realistic version of Metal Gear. You know what I mean?
You know what I fucked with? Siphon Filter.
Siphon Filter 2 was hard. But
Intravenous, did you guys play Intravenous? It's like Splinter Cell meets the Punisher.
That sounds fucking insane. But look,
it's shooting.
Let's watch this, right? Hold up. Because this shit. Oh, and this is also dropping on Game Pass too, just so you guys know.
Yep.
Shout out to Game Pass.
Mudang?
I thought it was Mudang. You know what I'm saying? But
Mudang. Okay.
Yeah, it's definitely Korean. But
y'all said it's Korean, right? Okay.
Yeah. Watch this.
주권 국가의 자주적 결정을 누가 허락하는가? 만약 이 결정이 패권 국가의 특정 정치 집단의 이익을 저해한다면 당신의 특정 행동이 대중의 의사결정에 영향을 미칠 수 있으며 반대로 누군가는 당신의 의사결정에 영향을 주려 한다는 것을 인지할 때 자신만의 온전한 입장을 세울 수 있지 않을까? 당신의 입장은 온전한 본인의 판단인가? 그렇게 믿고 있거나 믿고 싶을 뿐. 당신은 무엇 때문에 분노하는가? 당신의 분노는 스스로 결정한 것인가? 누군가 당신의 분노를 이용한다. 지정태.
Cold.
Hey, that was kind of hard though.
Cold, bro.
Looks dope.
Very intriguing. With the chick, I'm like, what's going on with the chick? And you know what I'm saying? Like,
and like
so
how that
random.
whole gameplay.
When they show her in the beginning, I just thought it was like, oh, okay, like they're
a random
showing,
chick, right? Yeah,
yeah, just like a cityscape kind of thing. And
like NPC,
but then she's a
her too.
I'm like, wait, what? Hold on.
I mean, she can't do nothing. She's just trying to get away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she tased homie. It looked like.
Wow. It reminds me a little bit of 24 in the style. It gives me some 24 vibes. I don't know why.
Man, shout out to fucking Xbox, bro.
Facts.
The best box, bro. Anyway, yo, let's get everybody's final thoughts as we get on out of here, bro. Rebel Moon Theory, what you got to say before we close on out, bro?
Yo, just want to say thank you for having me here on the panel. It was very great getting to talk to you guys about all these things, you know, games, film, books, comics, anything.
We really did cover all that shit, huh? That's crazy.
Yep. And yo, I got a lot cooking up behind the scenes. I know some of y'all probably know, but yeah, I can't wait, and I cannot wait to rock out with you guys next month with Rebel Moon Bloodline releasing on Android and iOS. And we also have the Nemesis comic coming out on the 16th, which issue 1 is coming out on the 16th. Then we got issue 2 releasing on August 2nd. And there's an unknown date for the other issues. But yo, man, I'm glad I got to talk to you guys this morning, and I can't wait to rock it out even more.
Hey, much love to the homie, the Curly Ray, aka Rebel Moon Theory, for stopping through. Much love, big dog. All right. We got the bro Dennis Medina stopping through. What's going on, Dennis? What's your final thoughts before we close?
It was a pleasure. Thanks for having me. I hope I can come one day again.
We might do this more often, bro. Facts, because
so
we trying to do more stuff for the members anyway. So
yeah, bye guys. It was a great pleasure.
Shouts out to Dennis Medina, right? And lastly, we got the homie Apex Leon. What's going on, bro? What's your final thoughts as we close this thing on out, Brody?
Lale lule low. If you know, you know. Yeah, man. This stream was dope. unexpectedly pretty fire. You know what I'm saying? We touched on some funny topics, some cool topics, some fire topics. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the enthusiasm. Everybody was going hard in regards to their particular fandoms. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I'm glad we get to talk about how trash Halo was. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why I love it. I know you love it because that's your thing, and I love it because it exposes Hollywood. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm so serious, bro. Like, they need to revive and redo and reboot Halo, bro, because that would be a big ass middle finger to the current state of entertainment. And before everybody goes, I want everybody listening to think this to yourself, right? So they got this new Bond film that they got in the background going on, right? And they're trying to work everything out. They're trying to find a director, and then after that, the director will start casting. And some goofball, one of those fake scoopers out there, was like, "Hey, it's about time we had a person of color as a Bond." And I'm like, why? Who told you that? First of all, I'm gonna just say this: what's up with all these white dudes and trying to act like they're the damn arbiters of when and where, quote unquote, people of color can come out and do some shit? Like, that's weird to me. Anyway, but as a black man, I'm gonna digress on that. But I'm gonna say this: I want everybody to think to themselves, how many strong leading black males in a new franchise do they have right now that are just strong? They're black, they're charismatic, they're pretty much James Bond. I'm not saying they're from England or anything like that, or Scotland Yard or whatever. I'm saying they're like a James Bond strong male archetype, but they're black. How many in a brand new franchise in the past decade where studios are trying to push them hard? That's the criteria. It can't just be like, 5 episodes, or he's not Bond. He wouldn't do something Bond would do. You know what I'm saying? Y'all get what I'm saying without really saying it, right?
Yeah.
So when we talk about something like a Halo, always have that kind of thing in mind. Like, why y'all taking stuff that we like and destroying it? Whether it be a Halo, why are you trying to pitch for James Bond to be anything other than a white dude? Why won't you just give us, if you want to do all these things, just make something new. Give me something new. Give me a new brother. You got all these Michael B. Jordans running around. Put them on the big screen. Make them something fresh and new. You know what I'm saying? Don't revamp Ethan Hunt as being
bro, but when we got a black kind of James
Athena
Bond
Hunt.
character, look, bro, I just thought about that. When we got a black James Bond type character in Tenet, they hated that shit. They hated that shit, and he had all the same, right? I mean, he was
damn.
You know what I mean? He was.
That's a perfect example, because that literally was.
He was suave. You know what I'm saying? The fight scenes, bro, all that, and everybody talked about how much they hated him in that fucking role, and how it didn't fit.
It was
which
hilarious,
was actually pretty
right?
crazy. Which was actually pretty crazy because it's just, oh my god, he was too stoic. What?
Bro, that is in my top
James Bond,
3
of course, he's stoic.
favorite Christopher Nolan films. Man.
I love that movie. It gets better every time you watch it,
bro.
Yeah.
I remember when people were like,
I
didn't understand it, and all this weird stuff about the sound. The first time I saw it, I was like, oh my god. I
got Tenet on the first watch.
Again as soon. Same.
I got Tenet on the first watch. I don't know why.
I knew I was watching it again as soon as I finished. As soon as I started it, like the first 30 minutes, I was like, I'm watching this movie again.
And
bro.
then you just notice stuff like way later, like how he goes backwards in time, literally at the halfway point in the movie.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy.
What? Literally at the halfway point?
Yes.
I didn't notice that.
No.
Yeah.
To the very second, it is at the halfway point, which he goes back in time.
Yes.
When going backwards. Bro, no. You have, bro, that movie is so layered. It's insane. That's one of the most layered movies I've probably ever seen in my life.
It
100%.
might low key be Nolan's best, bro.
100%.
An execution story, all of that.
Yeah,
like
that movie's fire.
I get it. I
and
know.
It's a black James Bond type character.
Facts.
100%. fucking spy, CIA agent, right?
All that.
All that.
And he had a Brit with him just to like do that whole wink at the at Bond. Bro, if Nolan ever hears this, which I'm sure he's heard from millions of people at this point, make a Tenet sequel. I don't give a damn.
That's the only one that I want to see.
Facts. Make a Tenet sequel.
And then the Robert Pattinson character. Oh my God, bro! Don't even get me started on that.
He convinced me that he could be a great James Bond. Rob, when he was in that role,
yeah,
effortless. Man.
It was literally the same thing, bro. That's why I thought that. Look, him in Tenet is where I thought they were gonna go with the Batman character.
Facts.
I'm being for real, because that scene where they're in the airport shit and he got the suit on, I could totally see that being Bruce Wayne. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And just
I was confident. Then I was like, oh, I think we found him, ladies and gentlemen.
By the way,
I think we found our Bruce Wayne.
And then it was like, oh nah, he's actually Kurt Cobain Batman, Leon.
Yeah. He's
like, oh, shit. Like
he's scared of chicks and he's a recluse. What, bro? Get out of here. Again, whoa, real quick. There you go. Ruining a beloved character. See, it doesn't have to be about race or gender. It could just be a mere characterization.
Look,
We've
Superman.
never had facts. We've never had a lame-o recluse Bruce, because that's not how Bruce handles trauma. I'm a behavioralist, and you'll never find a Batman fan bigger than me. Period. End of story. I don't care. Period. I am anyway. That's not how he handles trauma. He processes trauma completely different. He processes trauma on a fictional level. Duh, he's a fictional character. He's not gonna go recluse and be emo angry boy. That's not him. He gets emotional, sure. He gets angry, absolutely. Sure. He distances himself from people at times, absolutely. But fetal position emo recluse, nah, bro. That ain't Bruce Wayne, at all.
You guys spoke of Robert Pattinson as a James Bond type character. He actually looks like Bond in the books. He actually looks kind of like James Bond, Robert Pattinson.
Oh, from the books.
Like in the books, how they describe him in the books.
I wouldn't be sure. I'm telling you, man, when I saw him in Tenet with that suit on and doing the whole billionaire thing, I was like, oh, they can do that in Batman. And I actually didn't mind it at first.
Same.
I was sold because of Tenet. And so, yeah, man, Tenet is one of them ones. But
great.
Back to what you were saying, Leon, because you were absolutely right. And that Tenet thing just was a kind of like a great example of that, and that's why I had brought that up.
Oh yeah. So at the end of the day, man, like there's so many different things that I want Nolan to do with Tenet in the future, but not to get way off topic, because this will be a whole other stream. To wrap up what I'm saying, I'm glad that we had this conversation, because exposing how freaking dense and dumb Hollywood is, or Hollyweird is. Like in this conversation alone right now, we just went down a rabbit hole of crap that's been just destroyed for no reason. There's no creative reason behind. There's no elevation in creativity. There's no elevation in the art. It's just, I want to do it because it's the opposite of masculinity. It's the opposite of showing a character gets up on his own will to do so. It's so many different things that films used to represent and used to inspire, right? And our protagonists just gone, just absolutely gone.
Yeah, man. It's crazy just when you sit back and you think about how many franchises that it's happened to. Right, and you see it, they're doing it with the Bond thing now, where they're trying to make Bond into something that he's kind of never traditionally been, which is a black dude. I remember when those conversations kept coming up about Denzel Washington and Giancarlo Esposito playing Magneto and Professor X. I'm like, bro, what are we doing, man? Like,
stupid.
What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, why even do that? If you make Magneto black, it totally changes the fucking character.
100%.
Totally changes the character. And then you can't just be like, oh my God, but it's like, you know, we can just put it with the civil rights movement. It's not the same character, bro.
Nope, not at all.
It's not. You know what I mean? You can't just do that, bro. Like, you know what I mean?
Also, Magneto wasn't inspired by Malcolm X. He was inspired by his arc. The original plan was that he was going to start as an extremist and at the end get a Nobel Peace Prize and become a diplomat. And that was based on an Israeli politician that started out as an extremist and then became a diplomat, moderate. So that was the inspiration, actually.
Because I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
Magneto's the character has a Judean background. He's a Jewish person. So
and before the only argument you can have about the race of Magneto is, oh, but Holocaust so long ago. Yeah, I get that. But first, nobody said that you shouldn't set the movie in the 60s or the 80s, you know. I love
and I always said this, he's a fucking mutant.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
as far as the aging and everything.
Yeah, it's like, what are we doing, bro?
I've never understood that argument of like, well, it's like, nah, bro, he's a mutant. In the comics, that was always the excuse. It was something about like the field and aura around his body, keeping him looking young.
Yeah, bro. Like,
that was always.
He's a mutant,
Something else. In the 60s, in Algeria, they went after there was a persecution of Jewish on the Algerian after France left. The Algerian nationalists went after the Jewish population, so you could use that as well.
Man, bro.
Yeah, they ain't thinking that deeply about it, bro.
Yeah, it's like, bro,
history.
Bro, that is a line of dialogue. Oh, well, you look young. Hey, you know, it's in my blood. There you go. You know what I'm saying? Right. He just said it. Magnetism slows down the age. There you go.
That was always in the comics anyway.
Magnetism can do many things, my love. There you go. And that's it. And it's no longer a fucking thought anymore, bro.
Like when he was kissing Rogue in the comics, and then they translated it to X-Men 97. That joint was hard, bro.
Yeah.
I don't know if y'all saw that when she was floating in the air.
Actually, bro, X-Men 97 was off the chain, dog.
It was amazing.
Fire.
Shout out to Mayo.
He actually came out and like had some more statements the other day. Man, look, I gotta start wrapping this up because I gotta go get something done. But I want to thank everybody for being on the panel and in the chat, man, and for kicking it on this summer Saturday. You know what I mean?
Summer Saturday.
Right, in here chilling, having a good time. Right. We will catch you guys later. We will be back with some more content soon. Y'all have a good one. Peace.
Bye.
See you.